South Africa will soon get an energy reprieve with plans underway to reduce load shedding by 2 stages. Minister Ramokgopa has described his visit to the power stations as a success as he shares the main problems there.
So they range from a number of issues. The first one has to do with the underinvestments in these assets. Some of them are reaching the end of their design life, and of course, given the constraints on the Eskom balance sheet, it wasn't viewed to be prudent to invest in those. And as a result, as they break, they don't get to repair, they get to be put aside, and then life goes on. But the net result of that, if you look at Grootvlei, you look at the Arnold, you look at many of these power stations, there's considerable number of units that have been taken out and are not necessarily being substituted by additional generation capacity. So what that does, it degrades, if you like, the amount of generation that is available to the country.
He says the common element with almost all the power stations is poor planning, and these problems have nothing to do with the declaration of the state of disaster.
In everything that I've shared with you, there is nothing that is reliant on the declaration of state of disaster. That you go to direct to the original equipment manufacturer, you invoke the provisions of the PFMA, could be either emergency agency or sole provider, whichever one is appropriate. You making investments in those cooling towers, refurbishing some of these plants has nothing to do with the state of disaster. You returning units at the time that you committed to what I call outage state slips has nothing to do with issues of state of disaster. It's got everything to do with planning.
Minister Ramokgopa says the solutions are there, and one of them includes investing in quality coal.
In Matimba, the issue we have there is around the issue of the quality of coal. So this is not the coal that is being tracked from outside. That has to do with the so-called cartels in the trucking industry, and poor coal has to do with our inability to ensure that we invest in the mines that are bringing us coal. Some of these coal mines are what we call cost plus mines. So what that means is that Eskom has got an obligation to invest in that coal mine to get the kind of quality coal that they want. And you'll find that also when you go to Tuka, when you go to Letabo, that's a problem that's there. We are not investing in that coal mine.
The minister is looking at an addition of megawatts to the grid to help minimize the intensity of load shedding during the winter peak. He believes this will come from the units at Kusile Power Station.
Essentially, you are reducing, if you like, load shedding by 2 stages. So we're improving the performance of the grid. And then in the long term, what is it that we are doing? Of course, by February of next year, another unit will be commissioned. So I'm talking about the 3 units that have been out. The other units will be commissioned February of next year. The other unit is coming on stream. It's another 700 megawatts that will come on stream. So between now and February, if you like, there's 2,800 megawatts, just shy of 3 stages of load shedding, which will come on stream.
The minister says plans to decommission some of the old power plants should be reconsidered. The electricity minister confident in the set interventions that will address with great focus the 3 tiers of the power stations. The findings will be taken to cabinet for consideration, hopefully by the end of April. The minister also hopeful that generation will be ramped up, demand reduced, the economy cushioned, and megawatts are pumped into the grid in time for winter. SABC News, Pretoria.